My parents had bought a summer home here around 1961. It was a historic home in North Head. It's a place that's always been close to my heart, Grandma Manan. I went back to Ontario for about 20 years and I really wanted to come back. So when my husband retired, we moved back. Tastes change and the way exhibits are done change as well. So one of the things I want to do as I do spruce up some of these older exhibits is to get some more technology into them so we can get more interactive touch screens and get the youth more involved. The Alan Moses Bird Gallery has been expanded. We have a touch screen in there, which is a wonderful addition of all the bird calls, so people can look at the display case, pick a bird they like, listen to the call, and read about it as well, and see a lovely photograph of it. It's had greater appeal. People spend more time in there. The children love it. They love listening to the bird calls. Going into the future for the museum itself, I see much more technology in the museum. So instead of having the photos sitting on the wall stationary, they will be on a digitized screen perhaps. We'll have apps and things that people can download onto their cell phones so that they can read more about the history of an exhibit that they're seeing in the museum. One of the things I've been focusing on in the last couple of years is getting all of the historic photos digitized. And that's an ongoing project. I'm working with Ava Sturgeon, the archivist, on that. So far we have several thousand photos digitized, and that allows me to get more of their photographic history of buildings and places and things that are gone, and of themselves and their genealogy out there into the exhibits. So,
before the amazing room that we have now that's environmentally controlled was built, which is an amazing thing, the archives were housed at the very front of the museum. So when you first come in now, there's this really nice gift shop. That used to be the archives workroom. It housed our genealogy records. It was the office for the curator of the museum, and it was the lunchroom for everybody. So we kind of had to share our time and our space, and it was really cramped. And we also had a room in the basement that just had shelving and boxes, and it was damp and musty, and there was no environmental controls, and that was where our original boxes were housed for about 30 years. Yeah. The big project that we're working on now is the photo collection. Last year and again this year is to take all of those photographs and organize them and make them on the computer so that the captions will be found. So if it's a person, we'll know every picture that we have of that person, whether he's in school in 1900 or getting married in 1920 or dying in 1980.
The Intertidal Zone mural, Sarah Griffin was our lead artist on that, and I got this idea just from looking at the space that we had that was so empty. It was this huge spiral staircase of whiteness. I kept thinking, you know, murals in here would be lovely, but how do we afford it? How do we do it? How do we reach the ceiling, you know, get up that high? But once we figured out some funding sources and were able to get a provincial grant to create it, and then a collaboration with Bowdoin College, it became doable, and then we had the salary for Sarah Griffin to lead the project.
winter of 2015, we started researching and planning and coming up with lists of species and that sort of thing. And worked on the first year, myself, Tracy Faber, and Isaac Yagerman each did a wall, and spent the summer kind of working on the first phase. And the next year, we started the really large underwater wall. And in the midst of that, I got pregnant, and while we were finishing the second phase, I had to stop painting to have my baby, and went back a few months later and finished it in the winter of 2017. I have worked on several other large-scale murals in the past, and I'm really thankful for that because they kind of prepared me and developed my painting skills in a way that I was able to undertake the largest project that I've ever done, which was here at the museum. And it's kind of special to have it in my hometown as well. It was such a large undertaking, and I learned so much about what was at the very bottom of the tidal zone and species that I wasn't really aware of. So it was a wonderful learning process for me, especially being a Grand Mananer and coming to know all the different kind of symphony of species and the wild things that happen out there. So it was really a special project.